don't see when officers are dealing with people with dignity, because as a NAACP president, you only mostly get called when it is a bad situation. So you'll miss the times when there's a domestic and there's two children and one of the officers are trying to talk to the children and keep them out of the way, while the other officer, instead of calling for the wagon to come and put the person in, they're calling me and saying, can we transport this person in the car so that the child doesn't see their family member get in the wagon? People don't see that. They don't see last week when the young man had the fatal accident at the corner there, and officers are standing there. Officer Blake is standing there trying to block the view of the child so they can't see the debris of the accident and trying to get their mind off of it. That's the police doing
I
it.
need you to stay on the subject.
Yes, sir.
Why does the union protect road police officers? And why don't good officers go above and beyond the union and arrest those road officers?
Because in the concept of policing, in the structure of policing, police officers, in the structure of policing, police officers must have, one, probable cause to make an arrest of an officer. Two, it has to go through the prosecutor's office. There has to be an internal affairs process on top of that. And on occasion, it might even have to go through the state's attorney's office and go through also through the FBI. So there's some processes that has to take place. That process is a check and balance. Our check and balance in our police department, which has evolved over the 20 years that I've been there. When I first became police officer in New Haven, the internal affairs office was on the 3rd floor. You had to come in through the police department, you have to show an ID. Sometimes the officer was at your discretion to run you for a warrant, and then you would go upstairs where you would somewhat feel trapped inside of the police department. Let me just.
All this is a wall.
Right, but over the years, you know what you have?
We have to get over.
Over the years, you know what you have now from 20 years ago? What you have now is, you want to make a complaint against the police, you can go online. You can download the form, and you can send it in.
You still ain't arresting counts.
But what I'm
Let
saying
me just say this. We did a civilian review board. Ask how many officers they have arrested. They have no subpoena power.
So here's it. Right, that's the review board.
But I'm just saying,
I'm not talking-
okay, we also,
that's not
we also
fair.
have a board of commissioners.
Right, and
How many have they arrested?
Board of Police Commissioner doesn't conduct
We have a
arrests.
DA office. How many have they arrested?
So
We have an FBI in New
Right,
Haven.
so here-
How many have they arrested?
So here's a-
We have the U.S. Justice Department in New
Right.
Haven. How many have they
and
arrested?
that's a question you should be asking them.
You
Right,
just said that's all
I
the
can't
others.
speak, but here's the point is, and this is where the confusion comes. And this is where
I know the system.
Right. Well, you don't know the system. You know of the system because what you're doing is
I know the results of it.
you're mixing everything together. So first of all, you would have to first have an officer to have a charge where they would be arrested. Officers, and here's the
They're
thing.
not charged.
No, that's not true. Officer has been charged, so I can keep the
What
data.
officer been arrested?
We can-
Besides Billy White.
We can get you data on that. And that was
By the Fed.
Right, you can get your data on that. The other thing is, I think why this is really
Decades
important,
later.
it's important to the community, is because,
Am I being too real? I'm sorry.
no, you just not have all the
I want
information.
no problem.
So I think the most important thing is this, and I think this is the takeaway. The takeaway is, we need to have more conversations, right?
I agree.
And the takeaway is, the things that with the mayor.
But we need action.
Right. The things what the mayor has done with the community task force and other things is, part of that conversation, which was most beneficial for me when I was on the other side before I became a cop, was information and educating myself about how the system and who's in charge and who does what and who does different things. Because when we start talking and you're an NAACP president and you mix all those things together, the public is not necessarily going to unpack it all. And in order to understand the system, you have to be educated to unpack it all, because people are thinking in their mind, well, the police are going to get arrested, and it's just
Are
not.
you saying that people can't understand?
No, I'm not saying that.
What are you saying?
Slick, you were a little bit better than that. No, if people ain't, I'm not saying that. So, trying to be slick.
I was
Trying to be slick.
I think that was a very powerful conversation
Yes, it was.
that needed
Real.
to happen. And I appreciate the courage of getting up here and doing that, because that's where we need to get. I mean, and that was an example, and that's why I pushed it, that these are the level of conversations that need to happen within and between communities. I have a couple more questions, and then I really do want to open it up to the community, because I think it's very, very important. You know, and maybe we can do